hair is too short. How this looks. Put these in. I'm growing it out from an A-line bob into a shag right now, and it's in this transitional phase, and I look like a Bernstein bear. So I don't hate it in like normal life, but I just wish it was a little cuter and a little longer for going out. And my name is Ann Bush, and I'm making this video so you can follow along with me on my journey of taking $15 extensions from Poshmark and turning them into the hair of my dreams. So in my vision, I'm thinking about adding about 6 inches of length, and I also wanted to do them in lavender. I love my vivids, purples, teals, fuchsia, but at this point I'm no longer willing to do it on my natural hair. My hair has just never been healthy as it is, and it just takes way too much bleaching and damage for me to do it. And this is also my personal opinion, but while I see so many beautiful, inspiring pictures on Instagram or TikTok of people with vivids, I just don't really ever seem to see it in the wild. And my guess is that in order to really play them off, you really have to have everything done. Like the color has to be fresh, you have to have the hairstyle and the makeup and the outfit. And I'm personally not willing to go all out every day that I have hair. So I think that maybe having clip-in extensions that I could wear on a night out might be a really good compromise for me. So originally I went online to see if I could just buy the things, and I saw a lot of options in synthetic, but I started thinking, oh, what if this just looks like Spirit Halloween plastic Barbie hair? I'm never gonna wear it outside, ever use it. So it seems like having human hair is what you kind of have to do to have it look legit. So then the human hair options were just kind of out of the price range that I was willing to spend. I understand that if I was totally about this and I do this frequently, then maybe $100 or $200 it wouldn't be a big deal. But being that I've never done this before, I wasn't willing to risk that amount of money. But what I realized after doing a bit of reading is that with human hair, you can actually dye it yourself. So I realized that that could give me the option of maybe buying something that was at a lower price point, or maybe some ugly hair color that nobody wanted, and I could either bleach it and dye it or just dye it as is. So then I started looking online for that, and then I found these here on Poshmark for $15. And they look like they're new, right? And this is human hair. I'm thinking maybe the reason that nobody's bought them is because they're this really kind of not so pretty brassy blonde color that I've never really seen blonde people actually have this hair color. It kind of almost looks like the color of bleached Asian hair, which I thought maybe might end up having a more natural appearance, a natural outcome for me. So I think that I want to buy these, and we'll see how this goes. Because if it's a horrible disaster, I'm out $15, right? No big deal. All right, let's check it out. My package is here. Let's open it up and see what's inside. So it looks like this color is better than what I expected it to look like based off of the picture. It's lighter, so I'm hoping that I can get away with not having to bleach it for that lavender to take. Inside the package, there were 8 pieces, 2 big ones, 2 medium ones, 2 small ones, and 2 really small ones. An oopsie that I noticed is that these clips are a light color, so I may have to replace them with black ones if I want to in the future. Before I do any of this dyeing, I'm going to clip these things into my head. I kind of want to see how they would look. A lot of it is I want to know how much of this blonde is going to poke through my head, so I get an idea of how much of it I want to do black and how much of it I want to do purple. So let's see how this looks. Okay, so I didn't do a perfect job because I just kind of wanted to get an idea, and this looks crazy. I don't know. Maybe I need to straighten or my real hair or curl this blonde hair. I'm not sure about how this looks. But, we'll still do it and we'll see how it looks at the end. Maybe this is just kind of a lumpy stage of art, when you're painting a picture and you're at this middle stage where everything just looks like a big lump and you kind of hate it. But by the time you're finished, you love it. Okay, we'll go ahead and see how this looks. Before I dye my pieces, I'm going to wash them off with Dawn dish soap and then rinse them with vinegar so I can remove any kind of coating, so that way the dye will go on really well. Now I'm going to go ahead and let them hang to dry for a bit. Now that they've dried, I'm going to do a test piece first. I'm using Ion brand permanent hair dye in lavender. 20 minutes have elapsed, and now I'm going to rinse out that hair dye and see how it looks. I love this color. I think it came out great. It still definitely has more of a lavender look to it rather than purple, yet it's dark enough that I don't see any of this yellow in it. Now I'm ready to dye my pieces for real. I've got my lavender here and I also have a black. Well, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the lavender about 3/4 of the way up, since I noticed that about 6 inches of the blonde poke out from my real hair. And then after I've done the lavender, I'm going to do the black on the top and maybe have about 4 inches of solid black. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to smush it a bit with my fingers to try to blend those two colors together. And hopefully this works out. All of the pieces have now been dyeing for about 20 minutes, and now it's the moment of truth. Hey, I think I'm okay with this result. My nightmare was that I would have big black smears all the way on the purple and I wouldn't be able to see the purple at all and it would be splotchy and ruined. But I definitely see a distinction between the black and the purple. Here's my finished result dried. So I think this looks as good as I could have hoped it to look. I kind of wish that I smushed it a bit and blended the black and the purple better to get more of an ombre effect. But I think maybe once it's curled and styled, it wouldn't look so harsh anymore. And I'm kind of okay with this too. I've added a bit of product for shine and I'm going to go ahead and curl them a bit with a hot iron. Here they are. I think they look fantastic. But let's see how they actually look on my head. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and clip these in. I'm thinking I might focus them more towards the bottom and not clip them in a traditional pattern. That way it has more of kind of that shag look. All right, so let's go ahead and try these out, see how it looks. Look how cute is this? This is just how I pictured, just kind of that jellyfish shag kind of look peeking through the bottom. I love it. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It would only cost me $15 plus hair dye that I already had. And this is fantastic. So in conclusion, I'm really happy with my result. Not only am I excited to go wear these out, but I think I'm even more excited to make some more. I have all these colors and ideas that I want to do. So hopefully you can join me again on my next future hair DIY adventures. Thank you.